I just realized that I had my microphone off. Hey everybody, welcome. Man, I'm glad you're here. This is going to be a fun thing to try to figure out because I have not gone live in this channel yet. So this is going to be real fun to try to figure out. As you can see, this is my desk right here. Fantastic, right? That's what I'm looking at. And today we are going to be hopefully getting these Robot Legion guys all based up. Alright, so it looks like, yeah, this is great. You can see some nice white pasty leg right there. Maybe we can adjust this view a bit. A little less leg for the algorithm. Take you, bring you over here. A little better, maybe. A little better? I don't know. I'll get this thing figured out. Oh! I like that. That'll work. Okay. Like I said in the description of the video, I've got a lunch hour. You've got YouTube. Let's make something happen. These are my guys that I'm painting eventually. We're going to be using some glue today. We're going to be using some rocks today of various sizes. We will not be putting together AdMech today, sorry. Or maybe we will. We'll see what kind of time we've got. What we're planning on doing today is basing these Robot Legion guys. Check him out. I am pleased with this paint job. That came out pretty cool. I think it's going to be great on the tabletop. You'll obviously only ever see him from that far away most of the time. So that's going to be real neat. I think it's going to look great. So we're using these rocks here of various sizes. Some of them, we'll use some of the bigger ones on the bigger bases, like these destroyers, who came out pretty cool. I like him a lot. Yeah. And then we have your basic warrior model here. Part of that. I got 5 of these guys. Move this base out of the way. And we have these speeders. These really cool looking jet bikes. These guys are awesome. I really like how they came out. And I think, like I said, on the table, when you see them, you're going to see that green going down and then this blue come across. I really like how that worked out. I really like how that worked. So let's set everybody up here so we can kind of see our progress. There's our 3 speeders, little bike guys. Put all our warriors up here. 1, 2, 3. Got them there. I love a good accessory. Let's see. There you go. Look at this. Look at this guy's scarf. It's just cool. I like how that turned out a lot. That's really, really fun. Put you down here. And then another guy here. Another destroyer. Ooh. Yeah. He turned out pretty cool. I like him because he's damaged, right? He's got this part right here that's got the damage on him. I like that. That turned out pretty cool. So yeah. So then here. So what's neat is this is 1,000 points army. Oh wait, we forgot. How could we forget? Look at this guy. Look at Big Stompy here. My goodness. He's huge comparatively. I like how he turned out. He turned out real cool. Yeah, and he obviously kind of sits with the rest of them there. When I glued this guy together, I had a really hard time gluing him together. And it's maybe hard to see, but he leans forward. Put him right here. He leans forward when he's just on the table. Because of this leg right here, it kind of attached at an odd angle. I'd like to maybe put him back on and maybe try to readjust at some point. But I don't know. He's good. He's going to be fine. And he also has no base. He has a hair. That's cool. He has no base because this would be a giant base. Like, look how he sits. How big he is compared to this. This is a 50mm base. How giant would that be to try to base this guy? So he didn't have a base. I'll figure out how to play rules with him right now. You, Big Stompy, you did great. You're doing great. Excited to use you in a battle report soon. Not right now, though. Sorry, my dude. Okay. So you get to sit off to the side over here. Watch over us, my guy. All right, so like I said, these 3 models, this leader, these 5, these 3, the Stompy. This is 1,000 points in One Page Rules Grimdark Future. So that's really cool. What we're going to do is we're going to use some of this here as our base, and we're going to add some of these bigger rocks first to some of the bases to show, you know, some differentiate there. But one of the things that we definitely want to do is you see how I didn't want to use a light color on the base because I didn't want it to disappear with the lighter thing. So with that, yeah, it's gonna look great. Boop, 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 boop. That's gonna be great. So step number 1, we're gonna do, put away our darker, this is fine rock. Put this away for now. We'll get you back out in a second. Step number 1 is gonna be taking our super glue and the rocks and attaching them. And I don't want to use these giant rocks. I'm going to pour them in here, try to find some medium-sized rocks, maybe, and get those attached to the bases. Because I really like having 2 different mediums on the base, or 2 different colors on the base, to show, to differentiate. So either like grass and rocks, or flock and rock, something like that. What I'm going to do is just find some of these here. I wonder if you can hear the garbage truck coming to pick up our garbage. Thank you, sanitation workers, for sticking around. So if you've been watching the channel just for a little bit, you'll obviously see that I am enjoying One Page Rules, and I'm really having a good time with them as a company, with the game that they have made, really the games they've made. I've only done Grimdark Future battle reports so far. That is not where I started. I actually started playing Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. That's where my love for wargaming came from, was playing fantasy games. And I still really love fantasy games and would really like to play them more. So hopefully sometime soon in the channel I'll be playing some fantasy games. And so looking forward to getting to do some of that here soon. I'm interested. Try to break apart this rock. There you go. So I'm looking at these guys, and these rocks look real big on there. Almost maybe too uniform. So I actually think I'm gonna switch up that strategy, because there's a lot of these little, like these bigger rocks down in there that I like a lot more for this. I'm just kind of worried that these big rocks would take up, they'd be too much, right? And just looking at them, seeing them on the bases, like, I don't like how they look. So I think we're going to trade up what we're doing here, go a different tactic. Instead of using like one big rock, I'm going to use a different method here and use these little rocks. See, I'm trying to get to these smaller rocks down in here and get them. If you do end up watching, leave a chat. Let me know you're around. Let me know you're in there. I would appreciate that. Yeah, so you can get to all these think we've almost got these big rocks out of there. You're done, you're done, you're done. And you're done. Okay. Yes. I like how that's going to be. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to get all these big rocks. I might leave maybe one big rock on, maybe one or two, but maybe like not a giant one, maybe like a little bit. I think I can leave a giant one on this base because it's so big. Maybe on those bases. Maybe you get a rock and you get a rock. Just try to mix it up a little bit. You get a rock. Maybe you get two. Yeah, that one's too big. Better. Okay, I like that. I like that. All right. Yeah, that's going to work out great. Okay, so now I've got these bigger rocks out of the way. Can I pour in a few more little rocks? Maybe. These big rocks out of the way. All right, yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to set you guys off to the side. Again, take out these big rocks here. Perfect. Okay. Now we're ready. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add just like a drop of super glue onto this guy's base in a couple different places. Ooh. Maybe one in the front and one in the back here. And then some rocks like that and like that. Oh, perfect. Yep. That's what I wanted for that to happen. Perfect. Yep. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, yeah. That way you've got some rocks and some rocks. Very nice. Yep, that is what I wanted to happen there. Fantastic. All right, now I'll just do that a couple more times. Over by this foot, so it's in a different spot, and over here. Turn the front. Run you through there. There you go. That's what's stuck. Perfect. Same for you, but instead of two this time, we're just going to do one kind of in the middle. Yep. Nice. Same for you. Over here. Maybe here in the back. Perfect. Can you move a bit? Yeah. There we go. I don't want them to look uniform. I do want them to look slightly different. Okay, and then you get the big rock. There you go. So you're going to get this big rock here. No one has anything really kind of by this foot, so that's where you go. Stuck you on just like that. There you go, big rock. And then I didn't have this guy standing on a thing. Oh, I see you. Limiting myself to Grimdark Future. Elneath. I'm really bad at getting my stuff painted, so I'm limiting myself to Grimdark Future Firefight. 300-point armies for now. I've printed Eternal Dynasty and Daemons of War. So far, 8 models in each. That's a good goal. I feel like that's pretty attainable. Like, that's something you can work to. You'll notice, Elneath, that I have a quite small Robot Legions army. some of that has to do with I bought the bundle of Robot Legions that One Page Rules had released several months prior. And this was what was in the bundle. The speeders, the destroyers here, the Overlord, and the walker, the tripod. Actually, and you'll see here, these are the snipers, death marks. But I ended up, they didn't spark joy. I didn't want to paint with them. And so I ended up not using them and instead using these warriors, which I have enjoyed. I got the free warriors. Like you'll notice, they are all the same. Because they are in fact all the same. They're the free ones that you can get from One Page Rules just for going on the site, checking stuff out. And so that's what I did. I got their free minis, printed it 5 times, and for right now, that is more than good enough. You get that. You'll see, if you see the War Demons that I have here, I'm looking down at a Tupperware with the rest of that army. And there is a not small number of War Demons down in there. So they exist there, and the hope is to get them painted up eventually. But when I'm painting, you'll see I have these here. I try to really limit myself on my color palettes. So this color palette over here was what I used for the Robot Legions. They're effectively 3 colors that I painted, right? So the lime green for the power weapons and things like that, the turquoise for the accents, and then, pavement, which I really like. This color here, pavement, that I have for the, I guess, all of these dark spots here, right? Do I print combined models or subassembly? Oh, no, I love to print the whole model. I really appreciate that One Page Rules gives you that option to do the whole bit. And I like it a lot. Yeah, I don't paint subassembly either. So I really like being able to print the whole mini, the whole big mini all at once, and then to paint the whole mini at once. And if I can't see it, or if it's not in a really easy to reach spot, I just don't paint it. Because again, like I'm setting this guy down on the table here. When I'm doing battle reports or when you're playing with somebody, like this is as far away as you're going to see them, right? On YouTube, sure, I can pick up this model, this Robot Overlord, and I can show you real close. And it's in these moments you can see these imperfections that I've got, for sure. But this far away, all you really see are the bigger pieces, right? And I've learned to be okay with that. That's fine with me. To just be okay with the model not being perfect. And I would much prefer to paint and print that model all in one big piece. I know I'm really considering trying to paint models. These guys come off the bases for now. I really am trying to consider painting, or I lost my train of thought. If it's in a hard to reach place, I don't paint it. That's my goal. That's what I'm doing. And it's been fine. Like I'll even come back to a model after I've like looked at it with my eyes of, oh man, this model here is, you know, I'm really studying it, I'm really looking at it up close, and then, you know, I finish with it, and then later on I see it. I don't see the imperfections as easily later on. And I know that's probably true for a lot of people who, like, maybe they only see the imperfections when they're looking at it. I tend to gloss over them, especially when I see them in one big printed army. Because that's the thing, when you see them in a printed army, like one whole army painted up, like it's the effect where you can go, oh wow, you did a great job painting that army. Where when the individual models might not be that amazing to look at, like one-on-one, but when you get to a whole army that's painted up and you're looking at it from that perspective, from the whole instead of just the individual pieces, it makes such a big difference when you see them that way. So yeah, paint and print big models. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Be right back. All right, that was fun. When you work from home, sometimes you have things from home you need to take care of. Like, oh, I don't know, somebody coming to replace your windshield on your van because there's been a crack in it forever. Definitely appreciate people who have like a skill set that is just so beyond my own. I have no idea how to do what they are doing. Taking off a windshield, putting it back on, sealing it, all that. Not a clue. Not a clue. That's so beyond me. stream. That's great. Okay. That's cool. That's all these guys then. It's all this stuff taken care of. So now I'm going to move to the dirt that I had picked out. And we're going to take each mini, and instead of using super glue for this step, not using super glue, we're going to use good old-fashioned school glue. It's like dollar store school glue. The cheap stuff. And I've done this a couple different ways before, where I mix the glue with water, or try to put it in a little mixture. I have not yet found something better than taking the miniature right here, putting some glue on it like this. Oh, maybe. You all seized up in there? How are we looking? Dollar store school glue coming in clutch. Can you come out? Let's try that again. I take the glue and I just put it directly onto the model. Yep, there he goes here. Just like that. Hands in the way. Just put it on there. Like that. And then take your worst brush and move that stuff around until you get the whole base covered, and dip it into whatever it is you're working with. In our case, these little rocks. That's why I use super glue for the first step, because I've found if you use super glue for the first step, you can go right to this PVA light glue right afterwards and not have to wait for that glue to dry. Because I'm gonna set these guys aside and let them dry for a while after I do this part here. Yeah, PVA glue, that's what I've used. That's what I think this is. That's what I'm saying this is. There we go. And then this guy's based. And again, you seeing him across the battlefield right there. He's got everything he needs. He's got a little color, which is what I'm looking for, a little splash of color in the two rocks that I've got on them. And then his whole base is covered. And when you're seeing him either from across the battlefield or on YouTube, he looks like a totally based model. And that is what we're working with. I gotta tell you, what I'm learning, I gotta learn to do too, is like hold the model better so that you can see what it is that I'm doing. There we go. So getting this covered here, all the way around. And that way. Okay, Elnith, or Elnith, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your YouTube handle. I have not experimented with crackle paint or base paint, texture paint and things like that. I would like to, but what I'm trying to do is try to finish these models in as few steps as possible. That's what I'm attempting to do. So the thing that like I'm actually tempted to do is get those STL files of bases with the texture already on them and such, and then be able to use those bases, because all they might need is like a coat of paint or two, like a pass of paint, maybe even a like just a paint, and then can dip the entire model in the oil wash in order to have that done. I'll have to look up using eggshells to simulate cracked lava base, because that sounds cool. Maybe I could do a lot of them at once. But what I've not been able to see and or do is how to do that without having multiple steps. Would I print them FDM? I don't know. I've seen Beholder Miniatures do resin bases. I printed one just to kind of like experiment a little bit, see what it looked like. It looks fine, but there's a little, like the base had just a little bump right there that I was not pleased with, and I'm cautious that if I print up a whole bunch of those bases, that it would just have that same flaw over and over and over again. So I'd like, I don't know, all these bases right here are printed FDM, and I love them because I can print a ton of them all at once, and they are not clogging up, so to say, my resin printer, while resin printer are printing the minis. Yeah, I would agree. It does feel bad to use resin on something really simple like bases. That's why I like printing these bases on my FDM instead of the resin. But I will say the one resin that I saw looked cool. There's a thing that I've seen a couple times so far, and I've misplaced it in my internet searching. I have to find it again, where it's base toppers, where most of the base is, well, whatever it is you want. So in my case, just this FDM print here. But then you print something that only goes on the top of the base. It just like sits on the top and adds the terrain features that you're looking for. That seemed like it might be a decent option, something that would be okay. But I have not, I saw it, I didn't save it, and now I'm kind of wishing I had because I lost it. I don't know where those toppers went. And my short Googling to try to find them afterwards was unsuccessful. So maybe something like a topper where I'm not printing the entire base, or as another option, printing something small to use as decoration on the base instead of using a different type of basing material, and instead doing it that way. That's an option. Ooh, yeah. I would love to print some Titan-sized minis for my armies. The High Elf Fleets army has their Titan. That came out. I saw it. It looks really cool. I would love to print it. I have not yet. It's so big. Like, and for me, it looks really cool. It feels a little intimidating just because it's so big, but at the same time, I've never played with a Titan-sized mini. I've never printed a Titan-sized mini, and so I might just be freaking myself out thinking it's really big, but not actually like I haven't done it yet in order to see. Oh, that's right. You said you had done the Dynasty, Eternal Dynasty. There, I mean, for such a long time, all of the Titans were just like, well, I'm not going to spend $200 on one piece of plastic, right? I understand it's a set, it's a kit. Now that I have a 3D printer, seeing those Titan miniatures, they feel more within reach, within grasp. And I have not, I don't know, I hadn't done that yet. I got a little bit of glue on the guy's blade. Just a bit. They turned out okay. There you go. All right. I think you guys are going to be difficult to get into because of all these spaces in here. So, long story short, I haven't printed up a Titan yet. Boy, would I like to. I just have to get over my fear of that being a little bit of a bigger project. Because what I'd like to do, and what I'm attempting to do with this channel and these minis, is get a couple 1,000-point armies in order to do battle reports with. Like, that's what I'd like to do, so that I can have my sisters play dwarves, and then the robot legions, and then the war demons, and then have, you know, the robot legions play the dwarves, and then and just use a little bit, and then over time add to each army. Add a little bit at a time, maybe 500 points, maybe 1,000 points, just depending on if it's a horde army or not, and kind of go from there. So really getting each army set up on the channel with 1,000 points, so that, you know, it's got enough. I've got enough that I could do those battle reports, and just have them be fun for me, because I like pushing minis around and rolling dice. That's really fun. But then once I have all those armies printed and painted, adding up a little bit. Yeah, I do have an opinion. Do I have an opinion with the female Custodes always existing since the first 10,000? I heard a content creator say Warhammer is retcons, and that makes sense. Like, if you think about it, the Leagues of Votann were always there. Well, they weren't. They weren't always space dwarves. They were squats. They went away for a long time because Games Workshop didn't want squats, and then they were like, never mind, we need a new army. Here's some Leagues of Votann. Right, so that's a thing. As a father of daughters, I love really good female superheroes and characters and things like that. Problem being, a lot of female superheroes and characters and stuff like that are written by dudes who have a poor grasp of the female experience. Being one of those myself. Is it kind of weird for Games Workshop to just say all of a sudden, hey, there've always been female Custodes, when there's like not even close to them? Well, I guess they've got enough helmet and armor to write like maybe they were in there. I don't know. I'm okay with seeing more females out there in main character roles and in main stuff, and I get the Games Workshop has distinction. Yeah, explicitly stated that Custodes are all male. Yeah. Well, they do have the sisters. All right, sisters of Silence. So those were a thing. So I'm wondering if, I guess then why was the issue that they wanted to have Custodes and power armor be male and female. I heard more guys on the Poor Hammer podcast, which I really enjoy listening to, though. Those guys are really funny. Brad and Eric and Brilio, they're great. And his wife, Jenny, they're great. Funny content creators talking about Warhammer. I think the idea that they were talking about is that someone looked around at Games Workshop and was like, oh no, we need to write books. And those books need to have some female leads. And so let's make for the TV show coming out with Henry Cavill. Yeah, let's make some Custodes. I don't know. I mean, if you look back at Warhammer in general, again, understand, listen to me, as a dude, Warhammer has been a sausage party for the last forever, right? I remember vividly seeing a White Dwarf article where there was a female playing Warhammer, and I went, oh, that's different. Because I had never seen like a girl playing Warhammer. Now, obviously, girls can play Warhammer. They can have a great time because it's a game, right? Have fun. But I'm sure a little bit of that is Games Workshop going, oh no, we need to have some females that we can write about and see in our world so that we don't neglect half the population? Question mark, I guess. I would love for Games Workshop to be a company that had foresight and thought about things. Here's the thing, Elnathan, I'd be curious. Is female Custodes precursor to female Space Marines? Because you want to talk about the fan base has, I would say, been rather divided over female Custodes. How do you think the fan base would react to female Space Marines? Good point. Sisters of Battle, some best characters. Sisters of Battle, funny enough, a ton of books. So many books for Sisters of Battle. And good books, too. So why do we need female Custodes? So Henry Cavill can have a love interest? My lore's not great. Do the Sisters of Silence, are they just quiet? Maybe they didn't want to have a completely silent main character. But a Sisters of Battle could show up in a TV show, right? That'd be fine. I think that'd be all right. I don't know. I'm just a dude painting little plastic figures. I write stories. I write novels. If you go back and look in this channel, you'll see that that's a lot of what I talked about earlier on. I love writing female characters. I recognize that as a dude, I lack the ability to understand fully the female experience, and that's just fine. I also don't want to be generic dude writing a character that is so wooden and unbelievable because I don't think females have the same emotions as like dudes. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be a guy who can try to understand someone else, think of what would motivate, think of what would be, and try to do a good job with that. So could Games Workshop have gotten away with just Sisters of Battle or Sisters of Silence, Sister Sortis, in their Amazon TV show? Probably. But they did not choose that path. They chose the path of violence, it seems. Have I read Mark of Faith? No, I have not. And this is silly. I'm a bad reader. I enjoy reading, but I have not read it. It's the best 40K book you've read so far. That's a statement. Do they have an audiobook? Because I will listen to an audiobook. I'll absolutely listen to an audiobook. And if they have an audiobook of it, that might be something I could do. Because I've got an Audible subscription and I've got a credit to burn. I love listening to audiobooks. Super fun. Yep, Mark of Faith. I'll have to put it down. Since we're talking about sisters and you're saying that I assume it is a sister's book that you're mentioning. Mark of Faith. I assume that's a book about the sisters. That would be my guess. Hey, we've got one more base to go here. And then this army will have all of their bases done. Oh, there's another book yourself. Was the narrator good? Did you like the narrator? Because that can make or break a story. Right? A good narrator is a blessing. A poor narrator can take a great book and make it rough. Make it really rough. But I don't think you would probably recommend it to me if you thought it was rough. Oh, no, if you listened to it yourself. Very good narration. Okay, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. I'm old school. I really like Lord of the Rings. But I like Lord of the Rings in spite of the narrator. And I think that book was recorded in like the 50s. It was rough. Or the narration was recorded a long time ago. It was tough. But I got through it because I like Lord of the Rings. I'm glad to hear that that has a good narration because I have a hard time jumping into something that I didn't know of were it not for that. Okay. Sweet. Look at that. Okay. Oh, I love listening to timers. I would love listening to audiobooks to go to sleep. That would be great if my body would let me sleep. But when I'm listening to like voices, I have such a hard time going to sleep doing that. For some reason, I want to hear every word people are saying. So I have a really hard time kind of staying awake. Or I mean going to sleep when I'm listening to an audiobook. All right, let's see here. Get in there. Here we go. Okay, fantastic. Hey, look, we got this army all based up. So we've got our robot warden, our 5 warriors, tripod, my dude, over here. Let's put you into the, yeah, tripod. These robot snake destroyers, and our 3 bikes. That's a 1,000-point army. Man, that's good stuff. I see now the stream has gotten exactly to an hour, which is perfect. That's what I was hoping to do. Hey, Alneath, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. Old School Online, thanks for joining. Just a little bit. This is what we are going to be capping it with today, because I got these guys all based up. I got them, did exactly what I wanted to do. That means I get to move on to painting some of these war demons later. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the audiobook suggestions. If you like the channel, do me a favor, subscribe, that stuff. Horus Heresy, oh no, I've heard there's so many books. So many books in that. Oh, one book at a time, one book at a time. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you later.